So I've put together this tech house song, and full disclosure, I think it's a little bit bland, but it follows the structure and style of a typical tech house song. So I thought I would share it with you all. Once I play the song, you'd be mistaken in thinking that I actually started out with the vocals, which is normally what you would do if you're using vocals. I didn't do that this time. That being said, the vocals are one of the more important parts of the song. So I'm gonna start by showing you those.
Bass drops, bodies move, rhythmic pulse, twisted groove, deep beats, hearts align, feel the bass divine.
What I've done is I've added this auto pan filter, which adds this effect that makes it a little bit distorted, a little bit robotic almost. So this is what it sounds like without.
Bass drops, bodies move, rhythmic pulse, twisted groove, deep beats, hearts align.
And then I've cut out some of the high end to just reinforce that feeling of it being a bit robotic. Right before the drop, I've taken part of the vocal, pitched it down, and then I've decreased the BPM so it's elongated. And I've chopped up the vocals throughout the song. Here's a little part right here, and there's some chops and different modulations throughout the rest of the track. Here's the bass, which I really started building the song around, and the vocal ended up working really well with it. So this is what it sounds like, I think, without any sidechain compression. And this is what it sounds like with a kick drum. And for the drums, I started out with this pretty basic clap. I think I'm only using this hi-hat. And then I have a top loop that I don't think has any claps in it, but it's got a hat rhythm. Some rides that come in at various different parts of the song. And these crashes that play at points of transition. So put together, the drums sound like this. So I found this really interesting sounding pluck on Splice, so I chopped it up and I added some modulation and then a bunch of filters as well. So this is what it sounds like. Then I added a little variation with my own pluck sound. Right at the drop, I have this deep synth sound. And then I pitch it up the next time it plays. And then a couple other few elements like this random pluck sound and this reverse vocal sound. Right at the drop, I also have this bass sound and this little break. During the intro, I also added these siren synth sounds. For the second buildup, I basically took a bunch of the elements from that first buildup and just added more to them and built up the chaos. So, for example, I chopped up the vocal and made a riser out of it. I did the same thing with the bass and I pitched it up. I did the same thing with the kicks. I actually have the drums playing throughout the drop too. And then of course I have some risers and white noise, a snare roll, and this element, which is actually the same pattern as the bass, but it's got this like brassy synth sound to it. And it's just to add a little more depth and variation to the build up there. And the second drop's preceded by a 4-bar break that has some other elements that aren't present elsewhere in the track. So put together, the first drop sounds like this.
Bass drops, bodies move, rhythmic pulse, twisted groove, deep beats, hearts align, feel the bass divine. Bass drops, bodies move, rhythmic pulse, twisted groove, deep beats, hearts align, feel the bass divine.
And the second drop